Hello, this is Taylor from That Huffer Girl, and thank you so much for investing in this spreadsheet, or if you're watching the preview, hi, hello. I am Taylor. I am currently an RBT, and I've been one since probably 2019, I want to say. So it's been a few years, and I started noticing that each company I was with, each district I was doing supervision and fieldwork tracking just a little bit different. And so I made this spreadsheet to help make it as easy as possible, not only for RBTs, but for whoever is supervising you, a BCBA, a case manager, whoever it may be, to make it as clear and simple for you as possible so that if you do get that pesky email from the BCBA or from the BACB, doing their job and auditing, even though it's not fun, that you are prepared because you have everything already set up, everything's already tracking, everything's already counting, you are good to go and ready. So I just want to preface all of this spreadsheet, whether you are the RBT or you are a BCBA that's invested in this for your RBT. Please know that I did try to make this spreadsheet compliant with what the BACB asks for when they do complete an audit. But if you are an RBT, please always check with your supervisor. I have had multiple BCBAs I've worked with, and each one has had a different preference of how they would like to have me tracking my hours in my supervision. My first RBT job, I had a template that was provided to me, but I had to put my sessions in, I had to put my supervision in, and then every single month, the last day of the month, we would have a meeting and we would go through all of it together and make sure everything matched up with what the BCBA had. I've been with a company who did all of the tracking for me, and I never had to worry about if my supervision percent was being met. They took care of all of that for me. I just showed up and did my sessions, and they took care of all of my tracking for me. And then I've also been with a company who did expect me to keep up with tracking my fieldwork hours, and then they tracked my supervision, and then we connected and double checked that everything was correct. So every BCBA, every supervisor, every case manager may have a different experience. They may have different expectations, but RBTs, please ask them. Check with them. Ask your case manager, ask your soup, ask your BCBA, ask them so you make sure that you can meet their expectations, whatever they are, so that you can meet them, so that when an audit does come your way, that you are prepared with whatever materials, whatever data that you need, you are prepared to provide that to them and to the BACB. So let's go over some of the features that the RBT Fieldwork and Supervision Tracker provides to you to make it an easy process. On the left side, you will see month number, and you will see a month year with an edit column. So this month number, this first left column, coordinates to the months across the bottom. This tracker gives you a year worth of months. So this leftmost column, please do not edit it. It corresponds to these tabs at the bottom, as I said, and those tabs need to stay as they are to ensure that all of the information on this totals page links up accordingly. But the option I have given you to help out is you can change the second column where it says edit column. You can change that. So for example, let's start with August of 2023, September of 2023, October of 2023, November, etc., etc. You can fill that in. And what you will notice is when you edit this column that says edit column, if you go to an individual month tab, it will automatically change the month at the top for you, so you know what you're looking at. As where you can see month 6, for example, we haven't edited it on the totals page, so it hasn't changed yet, but once you edit it, it will change for you. And I would do the exact same thing once you've completed this column. You can copy and paste over here to this column as well, just so you have it there too. The next requirement and thing I would suggest to do is that you fill in your RBT number and your renewal due date. Obviously, you should be tracking your hours daily, weekly, at the bare minimum to stay on top of them. And so just having that renewal due date in the forefront of your brain is always a great option. Next, we'll move on to adding your BCBA supervisors. So you need to put one BCBA per box, or whoever is overseeing you as an RBT. So if you have multiple, great. One goes per box. So we're going to put this one as Bob, and then Bobby, and Billy, and Barbara. You will now notice that since we have changed these BCBA supervisors, if you go to a monthly tab and you use your BCBA dropdown, the names that you just filled in of your supervisors will then appear here. So if you end up changing supervisors, or a supervisor leaves, etc., go ahead and leave them on the list on your totals page, just to ensure that you're keeping accurate information throughout the full year. Let's move on to the monthly page, monthly tab. You'll see that I have broken down all of the task list items individually. Then you can see total field work, and then individual supervision, group supervision, supervision contacts with a student present, supervision contacts in general, total amount supervised, and the percentage of hours supervised, which is your total field work versus the amount that you were supervised. So if we're going to fill this out, you are going to double click, and that will allow you to choose the date. You would put the start time, the end time. It will calculate the total time for you. You do not need to do that. Then you can choose which, from the task list, which item you are doing. So I would say I was doing behavior reduction, the student was present, and then the student's initials. And then obviously you will need the BCBA dropdown if you are doing supervision. This situation I was not. So then from here, we will say that from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I actually had individual supervision when the student was present. Add the student's initials, and then we can choose the supervisor. You will now see that under supervisor contacts with student, we have one, and then supervisor contacts in general, we also have one. Now, we also have the option of, let's say we had a meeting after this that was group supervision, but the students were not present. Now here you'll see that your supervisor contacts increased to 2, but your supervisor contacts with students stayed at 1. And then you can see how much you've been supervised and the percent of supervision you received versus your total field work. And then again, you can choose for group supervision which supervisor you saw. And then there's also a notes section over here as well. And then if we go back to our totals, you will see that this information will be pulled over into the according month. Here's your 1 hour of individual, your 1 hour of group, your 1 contact, supervisor contact with the student, 2 supervisor contacts overall, total amount supervised, and the percent that you're at. I do want to mention that if you're unsure where your fieldwork fits, which task list item it fits under, I have attached the RBT task list, the 2nd edition, on this very first tab of the spreadsheet, so you can see what would count as measurement, assessment, skill acquisition, behavior reduction, documentation and reporting, and professional conduct. Please, again, please make sure if you are unsure, make sure in general that you are having a conversation proactively. Let's use those antecedent strategies with your supervisor about how they would like you to be completing your tracker. I did also include a sample supervision audit log, just so you can see that the category totals that I've included is the categories that they will be asking you for if you are audited. So on here, you can see they're asking for total number of RBT behavior analytic hours, individual supervision, group supervision, number of supervision observations of an RBT with a client or student, number of face-to-face contacts, your total supervision hours, the percent supervised. Those are all categories that can be found either on the main totals page, or if you prefer looking at it by a month-to-month basis, you can do that as well. But all of those are going to be already calculated for you. So if you get, excuse me, if you receive this supervision audit log, it should be quick, easy, just fill in the blank from your totals page. That is all I have for you right now. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I will say before I get off that you need 5% of your total fieldwork hours to be supervised each month. As long as you're reaching that 5%, this box over here will be green. If you are not, if you're under 5%, it will be red. So keep an eye out on that, and let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I am here to help. Thanks again. Have a great night.